Hi there, Rabbi. I see you're celebrating.
Yeah, well, I'm looking forward to a successful financial new year, Joe. And it's not just because I'm Jewish.
The popular misconception that leads to a lot of anti Semitic comments in the world today is that Jews are good with money, Jews are greedy, Jews like a lot of money, they only care about money. A lot of bad jokes that I heard as a kid growing up and didn't realize were anti Semitic. Is there any way to get rid of it? Is it some how does it why does it exist in the first place?
Let's start with the history. During the Middle Ages, Christians were not allowed to lend money for interest. Jews were forbidden to own land, to commerce. Jews were forbidden for a lot of professions. Money lending, it was encouraged by the church because Christians were forbidden to lend, and you need to lend money to have commerce. You couldn't afford a car or a house without borrowing the money. And when you borrow, you pay interest. Just like if I make a product, I get a profit from it. I don't just charge the cost of the item. So in order to have commerce, you need banks, lending, and charging interest because money is a commodity. So the church itself made Jews into moneylenders. It wasn't by choice. It wasn't that Jews decided to do this. It wasn't taking advantage of anyone. With all the other professions closed, moneylending was encouraged and open. And if you don't believe me, well, don't believe me. Go to Google. Look at the history. It's right there. You'll find it. So I'm not saying anything that's not true. So that we begin with Jews entering finance and business. That's where we begin our story.
And people don't realize that it was actually a necessity at the time, that the church was upset because having made profits from lending money a sin, nobody wanted to lend anybody any money. So businesses couldn't get started.
Now, that's our starting point. And let's take a look at Judaism as a religion. And then we can begin to see how success in business builds. In Judaism, there's no heaven, no hell. We don't believe in heaven or hell. Now, there may be some references in places, or you may hear some say it, but Judaism focuses on the here and now, the here and now. Therefore, my immortality lies in what I do while I'm alive. I'm not looking at what's going to happen later. So I want to be successful now. I want to leave a legacy. I want to donate money to cancer centers, to concert halls, to libraries, to universities. That's my immortality. And so part of the religion is to focus on the practical, on the here and now. And since this is my only life, I want to be comfortable when I'm older. I want to be able to pay my bills. I want to be able to pay my doctors. Therefore, the religion itself encourages us as Jews to promote our own lives, and what money we make, some of it should go to charity. Not everything, but something.
And there isn't a town that you can drive through that doesn't have some organization that was founded or has a wing dedicated to it because some family, typically a Jewish family, donated the funds to create that part of the hospital, nursing homes, art
Mhm.
centers. Why is that then that we get so resentful? Why are so many people saying Jews are greedy and they want to have a lot of money for themselves because that's all they care about?
I think that goes back to the person saying it. Judaism promotes education, Joe. And if we're promoting education and advanced degrees, if I'm looking out for my financial well-being, I'm going to get a degree in finance. I'm going to study finance, or I'm going to get a good financial advisor. And so we create this system. And I think a lot of people get jealous because they're not putting the time into the education, or nobody nobody likes a success. Nobody likes to see someone else doing well. Don't you think, Joe?
I don't think it's so much that no one likes other people. It's just that if they're not doing well,
Yeah.
like when you play cards with somebody and the other person always wins and you always lose, you don't say to yourself, they must be a much better card player than I am. It's more like the Westerns where the guy jumps out of the table and says, you must be cheating. And that's how people feel. They think, well, if Jewish businesses are doing well and my business is doing bad, it must be because they're cheating somehow. It's unfair.
You've captured something with that, Joe, that I'm going to ask our viewers and listeners to stop looking at the competition and look at your own business. How are you doing? Are you getting the training, the education? Do you have the experts in your business rather than, and I think you're onto something because we do that with lots of other things as well, Joe. We do that in bowling, in sports. A lot of times we don't take a look at our own abilities and expertise, and we criticize our opponents and the others rather than saying, you know what, I'm not very good at that, or I need more training if I'm going to do that, or I'm going to have to get more education to do a better job. So I think we want to flip it back on people. And that would go a long way to getting rid of this anti-Semitic charge that there's somehow something genetic about me, or that I'm not greedy. I'm a human being just like you are.
But I know one thing that has always been profitable for me, Rabbi, and that is your good advice. I take it with me and I put it in the bank and save it for later.
And I want everyone out there watching and listening to do the same thing. Look for good advisors, get good education, and then maybe you'll have the financial success that you think other people have that you're lacking.